Hi, Barbara.
Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Very well. How this goes okay? Does it? There's a lag. We're trying to with the other computer.
Okay.
Yes. It's fine. Yeah, that's really weird. Okay. How are you?
Very good. And you?
Good. I'm gonna just do a little bit of an introduction before. And sorry? Okay. And then I'm gonna do a tiny intro about you, and then I let your floor to you.
Okay.
I like doing these talks because it looks like it's the two of us only, whereas we have, of course, the rest of the world. Okay, so how's everything going? Still have like 4 minutes.
Wow. Just now everything is coming quite, heavy. I'm sure you're much more heavier than mine, I think. And I hope you're okay physically.
Yeah,
You can manage the schedule and everything.
I just realized that I need to sleep a lot.
Definitely, yeah. So
Yeah.
I enjoy making this game, and it's my first time to make a game actually.
Yeah.
But it's not a proper game, but it opens a lot of possibility. It's amazing. And I'm even thinking to expand it next year.
Oh, really?
Not as a proper game, but it's really so much interesting, and the resources we created are quite okay. So I think probably I'll put some more functions and interactions in it, and more storytellings in it. And I don't know. Let's see.
That's awesome. I'm very happy.
Yeah. Thanks for making this opportunity. Otherwise, I would never ever made any game, I think.
This is all the nice thing of like doing commissioning work. That is, you push the artist towards new things.
Yeah, definitely. It's over my limitations. Good. Yeah. And also the meeting with Meta Object was also very good.
Yep.
They were really helpful to give us practical answers, and also had a look through their recent practices and how they collaborate with other staff members. Well, basically, they are just two of them. I didn't know that. I thought they have much bigger production company or something.
No, they are the two of them, and they are really good. I thought it's like they are so interesting in the way that they look at technology. We did a talk that like we will publish next week, and I was talking with them, and I was like, wow, this is really very interesting. Like they have a very particular way of looking at technology in connection with art, and they have done such a interesting collaborations also with different artists. Like
and because they are not that big and small, much more flexible in terms of artist practices, and really a good model. I think there's actually no company like that in Korea for artist production.
I don't know someone that is so complete, I would say. That they do something, in a minute we're gonna go live, so
okay.
I'm gonna be recording this also just for our where I don't know how to record that here. Well, let's start. So I'm going to introduce myself first. So I'm Barbara Cueto. I'm the digital curator of CEO Berlin. CEO Berlin is, we call it the digital sibling of CEO Berlin. And CEO Digital is an exhibition, like CEO Digital is a project that continues the endeavor of CEO Berlin as an institution that is focused on photography, but then now we're looking at this medium from the expanded field. So CEO Digital is dedicated to the investigation of digital visual cultures through digital tools of artistic expression. And in this way, we continue exploring things that have long chased photographies, such as representation, authenticity, or objectivity, but now from the perspective of the digital practices. So in this way, we continue looking into, thinking through, and exhibiting the same issues that had happened years ago, and we give it a spin and we think about them on the practice of digital. And today I'm really happy to have Ayoung Kim with us, which is one of our artists in Incubator. She is about to finish her work, or more or less, or almost there. For our festival, and she's been working really hard, I know, over these months to create this new project. And I'm going to read this, just 2 lines of your bio, because I love this how it's written. So Ayoung Kim adopts the devices of speculative storytelling, narrativity, and rhetoric to evoke unfamiliar forms of reading, listening, and thinking of the conditions of the world by focusing on unlikely encounters of ideas. And I think that's amazing. And then she continues, she's interested in the notions of crossings, transmissions, transnationals, transpositions, and reversivity. So Ayoung Kim sees 6 possible integrations, articulations, and collisions of things between time, space, structure, and syntax. And that's a lot of big shoes to fill. So today I'm have the pleasure of seeing a little bit of the work myself, experiencing a little bit, having like a second. I'm part of your Twitch channel today, and I'm gonna focus on your on how this amazing project that I've been following some months that we're working together, how this is getting more concrete, these ideas that we've been working on, and all of a sudden we have this amazing project coming up. So please. You go.
Thanks so much, Barbara. Today, I'm gonna introduce my project for CEO Berlin, CEO Digital Festival next month. It's only 2 weeks ahead. 2 weeks, a bit more than 2 weeks, I think. So, well, me and my studio members are working hard to finalize the project. To introduce the bit by bit of the project to you, I would like to talk a little bit about the story behind the whole project. And I'm going to share my desktop. Okay. So it's called Delivery Dancer Sphere that I created in the summer in this year. It's a single channel video, but it includes much broader issues and fragments and different types of medium. But main piece of the project is Deliberate Dancer Sphere, the single channel video. And I'm currently developing a game simulation of that piece. So you can see it as a transmedia storytelling and expanding through so many different media and accumulating different aspects bit by bit, and each medium doesn't have exactly the same story or form. Obviously, the form itself is different, and basically I'm so much interested in the possibility of transmedia storytelling, how it expands the use of narrative and the use of storytelling, and how each of the medium can contribute to the broader, bigger projects as a whole. So, well, it starts with some algorithm which is called Dance Master in this delivery company. It's called Dance Master, and it says like a glistening night in Seoul. Time for the dancers to take off. Show off your elegant steps, following the route recommended by dance master. So in this fictitious world, I always create some fictitious world, and sometimes it's a cyberpunk, sometimes it's sci-fi, speculative fictions, but these are all like from the imagination that I conceived from the actual issues from the reality. So even though I imagine a different world, everything is actually rooted in our reality of present human and non-human conditions of daily lives. So here in this fiction, the delivery company called the Delivery Dancer is dominating the delivery services, and the main algorithm called Dance Master pushes and forces each delivery dancers, they are riders, to run faster and faster. So I'm gonna move. Okay. So here I used many different type of image generation method. Well, some might look at it's a conventional video because it's a single channel video form, but in there a lot of sequences are created by this sort of game engine, especially the riding sequence, and we used also 3D scan of the streets. We acquired the LiDAR scan function embedded in the newly developed iPhones. So it was very, very easy to create this sort of, well, low polygon captured photogrammetry scan ambience atmosphere. We captured so many streets in Seoul. You see, this is a kind of typical narrow streets in South Korea, Seoul. We scanned so many places and we reassembled it in Maya, different software, and then put lightings and ambiances and everything, and created this animation for the video. Also, we scanned this main actor, which is a protagonist. Her name in the fiction is called Ernst Mo, which is an anagram of monster here. She's the delivery dancer in the company. We scanned the actor to make this character avatar, and that was made. That made us. They enabled us to create the delivery dancer simulation with her character avatar as a game protagonist. So I'll show you the very short excerpt trailer of the video. Then you will understand how and why we created the simulation game afterwards.
두 달쯤 됐어요. 두 달인가 세 달인가. 마지막은 어제였나 그저 모르겠어요.
그런 일이 있을 때마다 신체적으로는 어떤데요?
사실 온갖 군데에서 다 누수 지점이 생겨요.
사소한 것도 놓치지 말고 계속 체크해주세요.
Oops, sorry.
배차가 수렴되었습니다. 귀국지까지 최단 거리로 가보실게요. 에르스트마 댄서님, 지원되었습니다. 댄스 마스터의 추천 경로가 시작됩니다. 오늘도 밝게 빛나는 서울의 밤.
사람들은 딜리버리 댄스 레벨이 4계급자라고 알고 있어요. 우리들은 안 보이는 경로로 배달을 해요. 그렇게 되면 우리도 안 보여.
인생은 시작! 상관없으면 댄스 시뮬레이션!
그 애를 만날 때마다 시간은 자꾸만 느리게 흐르고 나는 자꾸만 늦어. 널 만나면 시간이 자꾸 느리게 흐르고. 댄스 마스터는 항상 액션이 최소화되는 걸 좋아해. 그게 가장 우아한 방식이라고 생각하거든. 나는 위에서 길을 가기 위해 무한한 과제를 수행하고 그런데 나한테 주어진 시간이 얼마나 어리스트만 영원히 기술처럼 수 없어.
So you see here, it's a mixture of every different sort of image generating technology. Live action shooting, more than any my previous pieces, I used to acquire this live action shooting and with actors, and then this Maya sequence of this LiDAR scanned landscape, and then game engine. We mostly use Unity, and for this racing sequence, we almost built one kind of city with digital assets. And after making these assets, it became available for any kind of future project. So, well, that's the really good point of game engine, I think, simulation. Well, once we build up this level design, well, I'm sure some of the audiences might understand this technology description, and some might not understand. So the level design means the environment design in this game engine project. Once we finish this environment design, it still exists there, and then we can add more things and expand the city, and it can be in the end anything. It can be for animation project, it can be for game projects, and we decide to utilize it for the latter. So this is the sequence from the LiDAR scan of the narrow streets of Seoul. And well, I will briefly talk about the story. Sorry, I'm kind of moving back and forth. So Ernst Mo, our protagonist, is a top-tier kind of delivery dancer, which is really hard to achieve. And at some point, she constantly encounters her identical-looking counterpart, who possibly is from another possible world, or just from her inner identical self. And every time she meets her counterpart, the time slows down, and Ernst Mo keeps delaying her delivery, and obviously it results a bad kind of rating number for her reputation as a top-tier delivery dancer. And then the story goes to this catastrophe. So when I conceived this project, it was during the pandemic, almost end of the pandemic. And well, in Seoul, we didn't experience the harsh lockdown of the city, but still we experienced less and less mobility. And well, the delivery companies became really popular, and delivery of riding business became so popular between young people. And obviously, the more and more companies ensued, then the competition became so higher. And we experienced many news. We heard many news of the traffic accident between delivery riders to get more money and ratings and everything. So this sort of hyper alertness between the riders to make their body and time optimized is a kind of universal condition of capitalism, of any kind of working people, not only the working class people or gig economic people, but also everyone living in this current society in the 21st century. So I wanted to create this tragic story, but also wanted to make it as a love story in a way. It's very subtle in this fiction. Yeah. So these are the more images. Well, to add one more aspect of the fiction, I wanted to create a sort of the maze. The whole narrative and whole story is a symbolic maze. At the same time, I wanted to create actually working physical maze in three-dimensional form. And I was advised by a physicist and also a mathematician, especially majored in topology. And they really they were really a great teachers for me to conceive this fractal structure, which is called, in mathematics, it is an existing piece called Alexander's horn sphere, and its logic is very simple. It's just bifurcating. Each ring is bifurcating at the end of their ring shape, and then it's endlessly repeating. Well, technically it's endless, but to make it actual physical model, physical sculpture, we needed to stop the endless repetition. So this is a maze, bifurcating maze, and there are always two options. And once you take one route, you will never experience the other route. And for me, this structure is sort of a symbol or metaphor for this ever regenerating navigation route on the mobile phones. So I'll just show you a sneak peek of my previous exhibition. I also collaborated with a webtoon artist to create these multiple possible words. These are the exhibition shots. Also installed this fictitious app, Deliberate Dancer app, and this mannequin. So this is the simulation of this maze, bifurcating maze. Well, my experience interviewing many female delivery riders, and also my experience of having actual delivery riding with her on her motorbike guided me to think about this synchronization of the body and the mobile app. And it was scarcely closed. They were actually immersed in the app to receive the endless calls and multiple calls at the same time to achieve more ratings and to get more money. While they're driving, they're just constantly looking at the apps, and it's very dangerous and dodgy, but at the same time, they're optimize their body in that scarce condition. So it was really frightening that how much they are absorbed in that virtual navigation rather than actual navigation or actual physical routes. So this is the sculpture we created for the exhibition. And yeah, there are many, also we used this 360-degree GoPro technology in it, which is really hyperbolic and amazing, as you can change the depth of field, you can change the zoom, and you can change the width and size of the footage afterwards when editing, because it's captured 360 degree of everything. It's like magic. So after finishing that project, we started this delivery dance simulation for CEO Digital Festival. Well, a few minutes later, probably 10 minutes later, I'm gonna start the game simulation with you. I'm gonna play the game, and then you will see the streets and the developing processes and everything. But before that, I'm gonna introduce the game a little bit. The game space has got briefly 3 chapters. First is the city center, which is the atmosphere of the skyscrapers, and you're riding in between the high buildings. And the second chapter is the narrow streets of Seoul. You've seen the LiDAR scanned streets, very typical sort of Asia futuristic or techno-orientalistic view. You're very familiar with that. And the third one is the Mindscape. Mindscape is specially dedicated to the maze, the ever bifurcating strange maze. But we are still developing the Mindscape so far. The city center has got this map. Well, in fact, for the video project that I've just shown, Deliberate as a Sphere, we developed much larger city, but for this game simulation, we shrink the size of the map and only use some certain blocks. It will have this atmosphere and routes. And the narrow street has got this atmosphere. We put additional artificial lightings. Well, this is the actual LiDAR scanned bit. It's not the whole pieces, but we scanned some bit by bit and also assembled to make it like double-decker, two-storied or three-storied structure, which is quite common structure in Korea. It's, well, in Europe you have brutalist structure and architects. In Korea, I think we have this sort of narrow market street, typical kind of streets, I think. And then this also, we had to select very small amounts of the map because the game couldn't contain the whole places. So this is the map of our narrow streets. But in itself, we realized we didn't do much kind of tricks to create the structure, but it became already really like a maze, we realized. And I really enjoyed this chapter, and I was very happy to get lost in between the streets here. So another images of the streets. Well, the photogrammetry scanning technique, which is exactly like this. So, well, again, most of you might know the light scans technology and function, but I will add a little bit more explanation. So LiDAR can detect the distance through ultra-red signal. So from this object, from this wall or building to the sensor, then it collects the data of the distance and recreates this the shape of the distance. And then the photogrammetry is a little bit different one. It's the scanning of the surface as a photographic method. And then later this technology assemble these shape, structure, and the surface texture, the mapping. And then it creates this half real, half virtual landscape, which I like so much because it still contains the parts of reality, but also it dissolves into something really strange, possible world. So it's our protagonist. And the mindscape we are still developing. Our protagonist will be lost in this ever-growing maze, I hope. You're gonna see it in CO Digital Festival, fully gameable scape. So this is it. I think I'm gonna start to play the game now, Deliberate as a Simulation.
Please go ahead. I'm like, now I have all this information. I'm looking forward to seeing how it actually plays. Yeah.
Cool. Just one moment. Well, the thing is, currently we can't expand it as a full screen because my screen has got very high resolution. So please understand that this window is the size, maximum size. So it takes a little while to load. So you have this point of view perspective. So you see Earthmost neck. And we're gonna start writing quite fast actually. And the more faster you write, you see the building has got this motion blur distortion. And currently it has only little function that you can change the tracks a little bit. So probably we're gonna put more function in it. So here, I don't think we're gonna put that long kind of experience here. Personally, I really like to break through this kind of existing objects. I love this. This is a good fun of the gaming. Currently, the mini map on the right hand side, it doesn't function. We're gonna develop it. Probably we're gonna put a lot of cars and trucks on the road stuff. So when the bike hits those obstacles, then the time slows down, and you will hear the dance masters forcing you to ride faster and faster because you're gonna late for the delivery. We entered in the tunnel. Probably it's a very long tunnel. I don't think I'm gonna use this map. Probably we will stop before that. So I will move to the second scene. So Earthmo is here. She's got very nice uniform. So it's end of the road. You see this beam, light beam, strange light beam, which is piercing through the walls. That's actually your guide. You have to follow the lights to find the destination. There are several destinations. And here you see that this is hollow space, but actually you can walk. It's a sort of trick. And you see the glimpse of this nice landscape. You can run with the shift key. So your destination, first destination is there. Currently, the destination mark is just a lighting sphere, but we're gonna change that object. Now the second destination is high above there. This here, this ramp. And then the third destination. But you know, Earthmo is running to the pickup point actually. She doesn't know what to deliver yet. But she has to find the pickup place. You can jump like this. So, well, I'll detour the road to show you the landscape here. Well, this is not Earthmo's bike. Okay. Okay, this is the fourth place. And well, that's quite hard place actually to go. Well, I was lost several times to get there. You have to take some time to be there. Before going there, I will show you more places around, hidden places. There are really hidden jewels in this map. This place you just came from, jumping, and then you have this nice restaurant places. Well, this place is actually near my house. I love to visit this restaurant so much. Their specialties in kind of oyster foods and pancakes.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah, you can jump here, and then you have another hidden alleyways, but I'll take this back route. Okay, we can go down actually here. And one step further down, it looks blocked, but it's also hidden kind of map. This is the place that you started this chapter 2 game. It's quite hard actually. I think we'll put some more some hints, I think. So here, well, I wish I could climb up there, but it's locked. So again, I'm gonna escape these stairs, and then I'll find the destination. Well, we have okay, where is it? Oh, here. I would like to show you nice. Okay, small. Okay, this underground passage. There's no place. Hey, we're nearly there. You see, someone is working in the shop. I really love this amazing technology. You can enter there, but there's nothing. So here's the destination. Well, because I memorized the route, you see that I finalized this game so quick, but you will get lost and it will take, I think, 10 minutes to find full destination. Once she arrives there, I think there will be, well, it is said it is pickup point. I think she will encounter Anstorm, the other self of her. And then there will be autoplay of some footage from the previous Delivery Dancer video. Well, there will be several small clips inserted every bit by bit when she arrives into the sectors. So it will be full strange experience mixed with game engine interaction, simulation, and also autoplay of existing video, and so on and on. I'll show you some other place that I didn't introduce. Okay. That's it. Okay. Not this place here. Here we have very nice stairs, spiral staircases, and here I can jump onto the top of this car, and then I can also jump here. I love this view. And then I'll try to climb up this spiral. Ooh, I shouldn't go there. I think it's not done yet.
Are you gonna be able of going up the stairs?
Well, later we're gonna make it. Currently, we didn't put the floors, invisible floors, so I don't think I can't go there right now. But there's another spiral cases actually. I would like to go there. Okay, where is it? Ah, there. So here we can climb up, but still there are some holes we couldn't block the whole stairs. So you have to be careful, otherwise you will fall into the endless swamp of time and space and endless falling, right? Free falling. Here, it's a stair, but I think you shouldn't go there. Like this. You're here, but it's impossible to reach the space, other space. So you're trapped in kind of purgatory, and the only thing you can do is just jump to the endless space. I love this scenery.
I mean, like that, just like that looks so cool.
Yeah. And you know, well, I'm always interested in the techno-orientalism cliche and also the possibility to detour the cliche into something positive Asian futurism discourse. But once we scan the landscape of Seoul, it just automatically becomes this really techno-orientalist cliche, and have to think about a lot actually. The meaning of using this cliche, It's attractive, obviously, to everyone, but also have to make some other meaning from making it. Okay, I think I'm trapped in this purgatory. I will move to the scene 3 now. So this is really a developing, it's really basic thing, and the woman I was supposed to make it something different, but currently she's like jumping like this. So there will be a lot of voices and stories, actually, narrations and disturbing and interference by all different voices guiding the fragmented narrative, and why she's in such urgency to deliver something, whether while still not knowing what to deliver. But what she encounters is the other self, which is called Storm, not the peak of delivery thing in itself. Okay, it goes like this. And oh, also, probably you might know this very important factor of current delivery system. In our current technology, most of the delivery algorithm, the master algorithm, well, people call it AI, but it's not actual AI. It's not developed like this AI condition yet. And how they calculate, the algorithm calculates the fastest route and the delivery time is actually based on the straight line from the pickup point to the destination. It never calculates the actual navigation route of the road and mountains and the river. So even though the distance is very close, sometimes if there is a river, then you have to detour the route, and it takes much longer time than expected, guided by the master algorithm. But current delivery AIs just guided straight lines and make this price. Then once they take the delivery, then they will get very little amount of money while they take such a long time. So it became a huge problem between riders union in all around the world. And they are currently making a lot of demonstrations to the companies to force them to reveal the algorithm, why it functions like that. And it's really interesting way of dealing with the technology, I think. Well, somehow it reminds me a little bit of the Luddite movement. Of course, it's completely different from Luddite movement, but in the 19th century, when this jacquard machinery was invented, when the people working with this handmade jacquard stitching or sewing, those craftsmen, they got lose their jobs, and then they kind of made destructions to the structure itself, the machine itself. So current riders unions movement towards the algorithm and their activity towards the algorithm is so much interesting to follow, and not only about the platform labor itself. Anyway, she's trapped in the maze. There's no way to escape here, so I will force the game down now. Okay. So it goes like this. Well, I could play the second chapter much longer, but probably I stopped it much shorter than expected, I think. I'll show you some video bits here. So previously you've seen the extra, the trailer of the video. But here I can show the full part of this game engine sequence. So here you go.
서둘러 주세요. 오늘도 별빛만 서울의 날. 댄서님들이 출동하는 시간.
딜리버리 댄서 레벨이 4계급제라고 알고 있어요.
댄서님들의
하지만 실은
힘을
우린
보여주세요.
5계급제로 움직여요. 일반 댄서, 파워 댄서, 마스터 댄서, 신의 댄서 위에 보이지 않는 또 하나의 레벨이 있어요. 고스트 댄서. 우리들은 안 보이는 경로로 배달을 해요. 그러니까 위상학적으로 뒤틀린 경로로 달려요. 그러니까 공간이 접히거나 끊어져요. 그렇게 되면 우리도 안 보여요. 그렇게 열리는 시공간을 사이도시라고 불러요. 고양이가 다니는 길이 사람들 눈에 안 보이듯이 때론 어떤 공간은 당신들 눈에 안 보여요. 극소수의 숙련된 딜리버리 댄서들은 그런 길로 가도록 훈련되어 있어요. 댄스 마스터가 공간 자체를 틸트시키는 거예요. 그러면 우린 정말 빛의 속도로 갈 수 있게 돼요. 댄스 마스터가 알려주는 우연한 경로로요. 정피, 적피, 앞피를 초과할 정도로 아주 긴급한 배달에만 적용되는 이머전 식구, 고도로 숙련된 댄스만 잡을 수 있는 어킥고, 높은 단가만큼이나 위험천만한 도직구. 우린 건물 파사드 위로 때로는 반투명한 중첩 공간에 보이지 않는 미세한 시간의 틈으로 달려요. 그러니까 그 광고가 아주 허구인 건 아니에요.
빛의 속도로 딜리버리 댄서와 함께하세요.
당연히 컨피덴셜이죠. 나 댄서즈 파워 소속 고스트 댄서 에른 스트모는 당신에게 딜리버리 댄서사의 기밀을 이야기합니다.
인생은 시작! 한 댄스의 시뮬레이션! 댄스 마스터의 우아한 최적 경로를 따라가는 법을 쉽고 재밌게 전달하는 기능성
나는
게임
그에게 말했다.
댄서 시뮬레이터!
너 뭐야? 뭔데 그렇게 나타나서 깐죽거려? 사고 날 뻔했잖아.
4등급 파워 댄서, 3등급 마스터 댄서를 지나 2등급 신의 댄서, 1등급 숨은 곳에 고스트 댄서가 달리까지 영어 난간을 극복하고 최적 시간에 목적지에 도착해보세요.
So here, well, you notice that in between the dialogue, it mentions dancer simulator. So probably you can conceive, you can understand our delivery dancing simulation, this game, like something like this. So it's somehow it's related to that. And again here, I'll show you the game engine. Oh, not the LiDAR scan sequence in this animation version, how it's different from the game simulation.
언제부터 보였어요?
한 2달쯤 됐어요. 2달인가 3달인가. 마지막은 어제였나 그제. 오늘인지 어제였는지 기억이 안 나요. 어쨌든 최근엔 용산에서였어요. 꼭 좁은 인도 위로 올라가서 접근해야만 하는 지점이 있어요. 정말 내키지 않는 일인데 안 그러면 너무 멀리 갔다가 돌아와서 그 지점을 통과할 때 일이 일어났어요. 쟤는 너무 일상적이어서 놀라지도 않아요.
어떤 조건 같은 게 있어 보여요? 본사에서 만드는 규칙하고 상관있을 수도 있잖아요. 규칙상에 이럴 수도 있고.
잘 모르겠어요.
그런 일이 있을 때마다 신체적으로는 어떤데요? 머리가 아프다거나 심장이 막 뛴다거나 하진 않아요?
아닌 것 같아요. 그냥 동십자가 연산 2호턴을 가디단에서 도림차 쪽 길, 사실 온갖 군데에서 다 누수 지점이 생겨요. 용비교 근처이기도 하고 주무구의 길이기도 해요. 사직 터널 안에서 그런 적도 있어요.
그래도 우리가 모르는 특정한 조건들이 있을 수 있으니까 사소한 것도 놓치지 말고 계속 체크해주세요. 무리는 하지 말고요. 그 레벨이 된 적...
So the sequence goes like that. So probably I will stop sharing my desktop like this.
I I really like seeing like the confluence of the two things together, like how they're like, because of course I saw the video before and now I'm seeing the game, and I wonder now, what do you think, like the gaming engine, or not the gaming engine, the whole making the game adds to the whole narrative? Like, how do you, because of course I know that this is also one of the first times for you to do the game, so like I wonder, and you're very used to using also this transmedia storytelling, so like what do you think like the gaming adds to this?
Well, since I'm also a frequent game player, well, these days I can't play that much due to making my own game, but the possibility of game as somehow, well, not really educational, but somehow it can contain some hidden part of the current living condition, definitely. For instance, obviously I'm influenced by the game called Death Stranding, by this Kojima production, the Japanese developer created. It's about the delivering guy at the end of the world in a future perspective. And even though that game was developed before the COVID situation, it was, well, horrifically reflecting and resonating with after COVID situation. The whole narrative is containing unknown death of species, unknown explosions, and the player not only delivering so many different things to connect each city and connect and rebuild the United States in the game, but the player has to find out what had happened before this end of the world, this devastated the world situation. So it was so beautiful and philosophical game that I understood, and it's a power of storytelling and interactivity merged together. Well, there are always this kind of tension between the interactivity part and also storytelling part. And some developer mentions that if the story becomes so stronger, then the sheer pure enjoyment of the interaction is getting looser. They lose this enjoy of the interaction, and vice versa. When we develop the interaction too much and there's too much freedom and exploration, then we will lose the enjoyment of this storytelling. But in the case of Death Stranding, I think it made a great balance of making the two united. Well, other examples, I played some indie games of sci-fi, cyberpunk. I'm a huge fan of cyberpunk. And those sort of games can enable us to envision our future in a very different perspective. And well, most in the cases, the word they conceive in the independent games are much more abundant and plausible, much more than our current living condition, and not perfectly, but the societies are more equal sometimes. Well, obviously there are also other cases, and most of the cyberpunk games has got this master headquarters, which is kind of evilized, demonized some companies. But well, most of the people live as cyber forms and living with any different alien species and well, these can still teach us into some different kind of world, I think. When in my game, I'm thinking a lot these days to put what I can make something different from mainstream game. Of course, it's almost impossible to create mainstream game like visuality or narrativity or interactivity, anything. It's impossible with limited budget. But still, there are amazing things that only those limited budget production can achieve. It can be much more slippery. It doesn't need to follow this adrenaline, dopamine fueled kind of fighting or competition things. It can be much flexible. But sometimes it doesn't need to have some purpose of the game. There's no mission. There are some sort of these games, and only exploration, only learning by walking through the landscape still can give us many information and guide us to the some achievement and some understanding. So these days I'm thinking a lot what I can put the critical elements in it, because I studied a lot about this platform labor, gig economy, and especially the living condition and mental states of those delivery riders, and how this techno precarity became kind of normal condition, universal condition of our daily lives. And we are all really kind of governed and administered by so many different platforms already, while we don't see those gig economy, gig workers or under gigs, those people do. We never see what they do actually, unless we become friends of them. But they do a lot of work to connect this, individual, as we see this delivery company working. So during the pandemic, I ordered so many food by several different delivery platforms, but the most of the cases I never see who they are, who deliver, because they just put the food in front of my house and then they just run away. This is the common condition. We shouldn't see each other because of this possibility of infection. So that's why I became interested in this invisible labor, invisible mobility. But they were the most active and most mobile people during the pandemic. So I conceived this ghost dancer idea for the projects with this invisible labor.
I think that, there's a lot of things that like this experience of pandemic has really, in a way, of course, affected all in different ways. But I think like there's something that I find really funny, or something that with all the artists that we're working in the incubator with Devi and with Kaiken. I also feel that there's a certain kind of desire for getting lost. And I find there's like this getting lost necessity that it came, of course, from like ensuing lockdowns and something, has also done something to us. Like the work that has produced afterwards has always been with this, not the side of escapism, which is completely the opposite, whether like majority have become much more critical. The getting lost is not has become a critical feature in a way, not a way of like turning into entertainment and what you say about like these mainstream games or something, like completely to the opposite. It becomes a tool for being critical, the getting lost, which is like, this is something that I'm just like, this is more like a blurb of thoughts, like I realize. And then, of course, for you, like I also have to explain, like in Korea, there's much more delivery things. It was already before the pandemic. It's nothing as here. I only started doing deliveries when I was like every now and then when during the pandemic, and I always felt really guilty. It's like, this is very, it's contemporary Islamism. I always said, it's like, this is really not okay. But I think it's like, in a way where you're talking always like mentions a little bit this desire for connection that happens because it's an exacerbation of the individualism with this like hyper neoliberal, productivity, enclosed that we are. So I wonder, is there any way for you out of this madness? It's like, I don't know if like this is like the dream, right? I mean, but like, what is like that this transmedia storytelling offers you as a way of engaging with a reality that actually looks really grim and really bleak?
Yeah, that's the hard thing. Well, the good thing to be an artist is that I don't need to be responsible of any of the subjects that I'm dealing with. That's really good. And well, if a certain artist start to think about the responsibility and things, then the artwork becomes less interesting, as you know. So normally I don't think about the after effects of my work that much. But every time, it's my nature that every time I make the project, every issue and subject is coming from really everyday issue and socio-political issues, especially. And this time it happened to be the delivery rider thing. While developing the stories, well, it's always somehow some tragic, grim things. But previously, I think I wanted to try some better kind of future point of view. But here, I don't really see any kind of great, nice part of future point of view. Well, it's already quite kind of some aged discourse already somehow. It's endless accelerationism, and it's fostering speed, time, and as optimization of everything. Even our sleeping time is becoming the part of capitalism's sphere, territory to interfere. And what we can do, I know that there are many philosophers committed suicide after not finding any solution. But well, just one thing is to just try to notice it, try to just realize what's actually going on, what kind of condition we are living in. These are like just air and water we drink every day and breathe every day. So it's really hard to perceive, right? We have to perceive that somehow, and we have to train this eye and the sense to think about that. And in that aspect, I think the Heard, Rob Lobbing, the great theorist, who's also part of our mentors for CEO Digital, and I really enjoyed our conversation with him several times. And he's much more an activist rather than my kind of approach, and he really wants to live in his theory as a living kind of entity. And well, he's a living proof of his theory, which is amazing. And he doesn't use the big platforms, he doesn't use Google, Gmail, or anything, Instagram, but at the same time, he's the fastest person what's actually going on those platforms, and which is amazing. And he just endlessly creating his own memes, which is obviously such condensed criticism and fun material at the same time, entertaining and critical at the same time. I think that's really a good form of art I admire. So yeah, probably I'm just really postponing kind of my answer of your question to the future next project. But I'll try to perceive my reality, my perspective.
I have one question, and this is maybe the last one, but I saw, because I know that you, of course, that you've worked a lot with video before, and you're very skilled in editing process, that I know. And like years ago, I did an exhibition with a friend of mine. We call it Running Time, and it refers precisely back when there was an editing process that like it was with film. The moment of like that moment of like cutting or something, they call it running time. In between times where you cut from one to another. And for these people, when like, because this was a quote that we got from someone, the running time referred to this moment where like a moment of hesitation, but also when the moment of like when idea comes up to your brain, no, and it's like, and you edit it in that way. And so this person was referring to the editing time, at least he was his running time. And I wonder, of course, you've changed medium in a way from the video to the game. And there's also, of course, a running time there, a moment where you see, but like, how do you change all these characteristics? Because it's like now, of course, technically has changed a lot. It's like changing completely different medium. How do you work now with this?
Right. The really strange and great thing is that the more different media I get my hands on, the more I perceive the conventional video as a medium more deeper and deeper. So because I see the huge difference from those medium. Well, for instance, when I made the first VR project last year, I was really shocked how much it's different from the video. And VR doesn't allow that much editing or montage or anything. It's more like spatial media, I understood. And then I start to think about, okay, the very nature of video editing is the montage and stitching those time and space in a very strange way. But we are just so much used to using that technique every day. So we lose the kind of magic of this montage. That's why I created this previous work as a kind of conventional video with a lot of chopped montage. I love this chopping of this frame by frame montage, and you see really an extreme of those montage in the previous work. And also as I'm so much into transmedia storytelling, and well, even though I want to make the same storytelling in different medium, it's impossible because the medium certainly holds some part of narrative in itself. There's some kind of narrative which can be achieved in a certain medium, and in VR or VR chat or in game simulation, these have totally different kind of aspects in terms of narrativity. So it's just, I can't help but it just deviates every time from my expectation, which is good to explore. And technically I work with Unity developer, and he is also a good teacher for me. He really kindly explained all kind of functions and processes, and we discuss a lot. And yeah, it just opens my eyes to another realm. And probably I will try to put some some choreographic elements in the game if I develop it further and further. So once Ernst Mo as a character protagonist encounters Storm, her counterpart, anyhow, they are just entangled entity and they can't divide it into different beings. So somehow the player has to play them to be attached and move together somewhere. And once they lose their connection, then they fail in a certain mission. I don't know. Well, it's from my yesterday's workshop. I'm talking some strange things now. I'm running some class in a university, and yesterday I really didn't want to do my kind of thing. So I invited some choreographer who's a friend of mine. She's a great choreographer, and she gave us this unique workshop to understand our body in essence. So we had to work together with someone. So every one pair of people, so two as a one pair. At the beginning, we touched every part of our body and tried to put our breath into that position as the partner put our body in the hand. And somehow it's impossible to breathe on our kind of knee, let's say. It's impossible to breathe that. But actually certain energy goes there as we push our muscles into that part, and there's some tension in there. So the energy moves, and then it ended up like putting each other's back and then move and, well, walk together as one unified entity. So it was beautiful experience. Probably I will put this sort of very sophisticated motion capture movements into this game. So already can be very strange and very special, to be a game, I think.
I think with this, we're gonna wrap it up. It's been such a pleasure. I'm loving, honestly, following this from all the stages since the very beginning that we started talking how the ideas have been developed and moving forward, and like how fast have you done this so quickly. And then I know this is only the kind of first version, like we still need so it's been an absolute pleasure to work with you on this. So I'm really happy. We have everyone could be able of experiencing the work at CO Digital and then of course during the festival. So, and then Ayoung is gonna also give a lecture performance, and there's gonna be a panel discussion, and she'll be there, and we're gonna have probably a lot of fun. So I invite everyone to join us in Berlin or to follow the different channels where we're gonna be putting information about this. And so that's it. Thank you so much. Also, I know that it's really late for you, now that I think of it.
Yeah, it's 3 a.m. It's good time to go to sleep. So thank you very much, Barbara and audiences. So that's goodbye from my Ernstmo and Ernstrom from my back.
Nice. Bye-bye.
Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.